Hello and welcome to Empower TV with Crystal Rain. Thank you for joining me tonight. So tonight we are talking about manifestations, meditations, and of course we are going to relax tonight together. Hopefully everyone is having a fabulous Monday. So far my Monday's been okay, not too bad. Peace, love, and many blessings. How are you guys doing? How's your Monday going? Good, bad, so so. Hmm. Okay. So, manifesting, what does that mean? So, I know what it means to me. I'm not sure what it means to anybody else. I'm pretty good at manifesting. And before I get into the main topic of tonight with manifesting, we're going to kind of talk about something else because, of course, I love to show off my outfits. That's one of the things I just love to do. So, sorry, we're going to talk about that first a little bit, and then we're going to get into our evening of manifestation. So I had to adjust there for a minute. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so you see anything, because one of the things I'm going to talk about is this top. You see anything, you drop it in the chat. Let me stay that way, okay? Should have bought a size smaller. um, anyway, like I said, today has been awesome so far. Not too bad, not too crazy, kind of, sort of ish. So I'm glad that Mondays are Mindfulness Monday because we get to kind of take in everything, what our week is going to be, how the day has started, and then kind of like, bring it down and end it correctly, right? Yeah, fabulous. Awesome. Okay, so first let's get into what I'm wearing. So what I'm wearing is one of my Zaya outfits. And like I said, it's not too crazy, crazy. It's just, pretty much a standard outfit. And so I'm going to show that off right now. Okay, so I'm going to show that off. Stand up a little bit. Okay. And these pants are made to enhance. So ladies, if you're looking for, fabulous leggings, these will be it. So these are my leopard scrunchies. And again, this is Zaya Activewear. And this is the one shoulder um, strappy tank. You have to be careful. So I bought this in the extra large. And I'm like, oh my goodness, I should have bought it a size smaller. So I'm not sure if it shapes anything nicely. I can't tell on me, because that area tends to be, I guess, kind of enhanced. But anyway, these are the leopard prints. So I always like to show these off. And then we have the one strap tank top, you know? So I always talk about my Zaya activewear, um, just because, I think it's fabulous. Kind of makes you look good and great and all things wonderful. So hopefully you're enjoying the outfit of the day. The one strap tank and the leopard scrunchy leggings. Um, so thank you. I think more people should say what they're wearing for just in case people are looking for clothing ideas. There's quite a few ladies, and you never know. So, manifesting. What does manifesting mean? Um, let's look up a brief definition after this moment, okay? I'm going to be right back. So, we're going to talk about the actual definition and then what I think it means. And then we're going to talk about what I manifested um, for myself. And then we're going to get into some other things. Peace, love, and many blessings. We are going to be right back, okay? Take a quick little break. So we have to start over. Blooper. So not quite over, but again, thank you and welcome to Empower TV with Crystal Rain, and we're talking about manifesting. So we're going to begin with the definition of manifest. So manifesting, display or show a quality or feeling by one's acts or appearance, demonstrate. Ray manifested signs of severe depression. There's also be evidence of or prove, or there's become apparent through the appearance of symptoms. So, yes, we can bring and manifest our own feelings. Like if we perceive a situation to be a certain way, we can bring about either happy feelings, we can bring about angry feelings, we can bring about feelings of joy, you know, but we can also bring about feelings of sadness, feelings of anger, feelings of jealousy, and they may not even be correct, but because we again take in something, place it there, we can manifest all these things. Correct? Yes. So with that, hold one note for me, and I'm going to be right back. Then I'm going to tell you what I believe manifesting is, or the manifesting that I'm talking about. And welcome back to Empowered TV with Crystal Rain. So, the type of manifesting that I'm talking about is bringing about maybe situations or bringing about a person. You're going to manifest some type of positivity, and we can go about go about that in a certain way with manifesting positivity. And so, how do we do that? Um, but I want to give an example of something that I manifested, and it wasn't exactly positive. It wasn't a positive energy, and I don't know how I manifested it. Well, I kind of do, but you know, it wasn't on purpose. It wasn't something that I wanted to manifest. But when you're good at doing those things, it can easily come about. So, what am I talking about? I am talking about manifesting um kind of like a situation and feelings, and I don't want to say fear, but so let me just go into it. So this is what happened. I've been watching and talking about the fact that there's going to be a Scream 5 and Scream 5 the movie, so the Scream series. And so what we've been doing is we've been watching the Scream MTV series and talking about it like since Halloween and on. And with that being said, um, I was standing outside, I think getting something, and it was, dark. It gets dark earlier. And I had just finished raking up a bunch of leaves. So all of a sudden, I hear what sounds like footsteps through the leaves. And I'm like, when I realized I heard this, I immediately turned around and then it stopped. And I was like, what? And now, when we manifest things, we could do it intentionally and we can do it subconsciously. And it could be because there's a certain energy around you that you're not picking up on initially. And we're going to talk about that. And I couldn't believe that maybe I manifested my own Scream moment. Because we've been talking about the final girl, like what is a final girl as they define on MTV, and, just how the series is different slightly from the movie and whatnot. And I couldn't believe that I actually manifested that. Um, that situation. I mean, I literally heard footsteps rustling through the leaves. Now, I'm sure it was just an animal, trying to get warm, but where did my mind go? Oh my God, somebody's in my backyard. And I immediately turned around and again, it stopped. I felt like I was in the movie, okay? If you've ever had that situation. And so, what does that mean? Maybe there's I can take that to mean all types of things, but maybe there is negative energy around me. And, you have to identify where the negative energy is coming from. So I have to make sure I was square there. So how do we pick up on that negative energy? One, just by being aware, being conscious, and being present, which I tend to be, and I try to be consciously. So I had recently saw on YouTube a test that you can do that lemons, us women sometimes, we'll peel lemons and we'll use the lemon peel for our skin because it cleans out impurities. And I guess lemons can also detect impurities. You can see it a little bit. Detect impurities that are around you. Now, when I first put these lemons out, it was like a month or so ago, and they were very preserved, which is what's supposed to happen. It's supposed to look like the lemon that you basically bought. That's what it's supposed to look like. It's not supposed to um, have brown spots or looks like bruising. And if it starts to mold and grow like different things right away, yeah, you got some negative energy. So this took a minute. And it didn't start with this bruising. Like I said, the first one that I had on my dining room table, I basically threw it away preserved. It looked fine. So I said, oh, we're good here. And so I took one that I had like near the sofa and I put it on the table. Said, well, no, this one still's kind of soft. I'm just going to leave it out. And so, like I said, we've been watching the screens. We've been talking about it. Some other energy in my life changed, and I don't know why that energy changed. I felt my energy change. So I was very aware. And then I looked at the lemon. Okay. All of a sudden, there's these spots on it that it did not have. And I said, wow, I brought negative energy in somehow and not intentionally. So, and I know what this lemon looked like just a couple of days ago. But as I continued to watch the Scream series, as I continued just, day to day, and I noticed energy changing around me, this changed. So if you want to see what energy is around you, you can put these out. And of course, the energy you can get rid of, and it's not too bad. So I'm like, well, maybe because people say when you watch these movies, you bring that feeling because those characters have to believe it's, thank you. Um, but because those characters have to believe that it's real, right? So you bring that real negative energy into your life. So this is, thank you for lurking. Um, so yeah, so how can we get rid of this? There are several ways of getting rid of this, and I read about them. You can put out plates of lemons and put salt on the lemons and leave it out, and you'll see those things change. So maybe I'll do that. You can, of course, buy certain incense and do that by prayer, meditation. You can also change that energy around you for the better. And so that's kind of like what we're talking about tonight. So I manifested this, I believe, by watching the Scream movies because I don't really watch those type of movies. And before I started watching that series, I didn't have a thank you. I'm glad you enjoy it. So I have a question. Do you think they enhanced or did they not enhance the scrunchy leopards? Because when I look, I go, maybe it's because maybe you have to have like a flatter rear for these pants to actually look like they've enhanced something. But anyway, yes, back to the topic. Um, yeah, I couldn't believe it when I saw bruising on the lemon. And I was like, wait a minute, what's going on? And I started picking up on other things. I started picking up on other energy changing around me. And I say, am I doing this? And it's possibly I'm doing this. And maybe, sometimes you have to take a step back and kind of let a situation work itself out for you. Because I started feeling a certain way about something. Like I said, I think I'm being taken advantage of by a person and kind of sort of, and there's not anything I can do about it. And I started to feel a certain way about it on the inside without talking about it. Wasn't happy. I really didn't want to deal with it. But I said, you know what? I'm going to smile and just go with it and see what happens. Maybe I just sit back and say nothing because guess what? By saying something, you can also bring about negative energy. So sometimes you just kind of have to internalize. Now, that might be a little bit much for tonight because I wasn't going to do a long stream. I'm probably going to do exactly about 45 minutes to um, maybe an hour because I want to talk about the meditation portion. So if there's any questions about manifesting and bringing things about, let me know. But yeah, go buy some lemons and put them in different places and see what happens to them. If you start getting bruises and brown spots and black little dots on them, you have negative energy around you. And like I said, these lemons were perfectly preserved before I started allowing the movie Scream back into my life. And I told you I manifested my own um Scream moment. Yes, I cannot believe that. When I heard footsteps, I've never heard that. Yeah, I just moved, but I've never heard that. And when I heard footsteps rustling through my leaves, I said, "Is that in my backyard?" And I immediately turned around and it stopped. I could not believe that. And I said that was in the my immediate thought was that if you hear the cat, I'm sorry, the cat's upset. He's trying to get into a certain room and he can't. He's so loud, poor baby. Um, and I immediately turned. My thoughts immediately went to the movie Scream. I said that was just like something out of that damn movie. I couldn't believe it. So I don't know if we're gonna continue with Scream because my lemon started bruising and got brown spots. I want to continue because I think it's a fascinating movie and the psychology behind it. But we have to think about that. We might switch to a different movie, guys. I would love to continue talking about that, but it's bringing about some terrible energy. And when you are a sensitive, you don't like that. You pick up on it immediately and then you start to relate it. And then you do what? You immediately want to shut down and cut people off. You can ask one of my closest friends who's also on Twitch, and that's what I'll immediately do. And she just kind of waits. She goes, she listens, and she's like, okay. And she knows me, and I'm a good person with picking up on energy. Um, but I'll immediately go like on shutdown mode, like, wait a minute. Okay, so that is manifesting. So the positive things that we can manifest is by just like one thing. Let's say you choose a color that you like. And I did this, and this actually comes from a certain place. So for me, my color is purple, and I said, uh, whenever I see purple, I'll know that I'm truly happy. But some other steps went into this whole purple thing. So, but I noticed from me doing these things, my meditations and my studying and different things, I started seeing the color purple a lot. So, you know what color I haven't been seeing a lot or I haven't been wearing, and I usually tend to like to wear, is purple. So, if you don't think these things are real, start putting some of these things into place. And I'm not giving out a whole bunch of freebies. I'm done with that. I feel like I've kind of reached a point with all this training and all these different things and being a part of these different like companies and all this stuff that but start putting some things in place. Start going, what color truly makes you happy? Like, what's your favorite color? And that's going to be your color. You'll either wear it on your person, and you're going to start doing it consciously. And let's say you start wearing it and keeping it around you, you'll then start to see it more. And I know because I've done this and I did start seeing the color purple more. What color I have not seen a lot of is the color purple. So that lets me know right there, hey, you're off. Some things are off. How else can we manifest? We can manifest by, if you believe in incense, by buying certain incense. Mint, okay, that goes with money. Mint, but you don't want to burn it too much because the universe will think you're greedy. And then you're supposed to do something with the ashes, or if you do candle work and things like that. And I've done that. And I have manifested some things that I said, wow, the perfect house will be on this street for this particular reason. I kept saying it for like a year. I said the perfect house will be on this particular street for a reason. And I started putting some things into place for that to happen. Boom, phone call. There's a house right here. I could not believe it. And I had to think about what I said. I said, wow, if there could be a house on this street, and better yet, right next to where it needed to be. The universe did one better for me. And so now, of course, the universe is most likely expecting a return. So I have to then look at, have I given as much as I've received? Possibly not. And I bring forth the lemon. Okay. And there's some other signs of that, like my ankle going out. It was just like some weird things that I've never ever had happen. So the rustling of what sounded like footsteps in my backyard, like there's something following me, right? Okay. So we need to do some work. We've been a little lazy, but that's okay. So let's get into the meditation portion. And one of the things that I used to do, or kind of still do, I like to keep my positive thoughts. What you have in your head is going to come through, it's going to come out. And what do I mean by that? So if you constantly say, I don't have enough money, guess what you're not going to have enough of? You're not going to have enough money. So if you constantly say, I don't have enough money, or I can't do this, or I wish, shoulda, coulda, that's all it'll ever be. And some of you may have heard these things before. If not, hey, first time's great. Um, so I started to say, or one of my favorite ones, and you've probably heard it before, it's kind of typical, it's out there. And I have some of my own personal ones that I say now that are based on my intentions. And that's another thing. I have not sat down and been able to fully concentrate or focus on my intentions. Remember, we did our intentions during the blue harvest moon on Halloween. How many people have probably meditated on those intentions? And so a lot of times I leave my stones here at home. And it's like, hey, what are you doing? So one of them is money comes easily and often. Money comes easily and often. And that could be something that you kind of meditate on in your head throughout the day. Or I am happy. What is it? I am happy, joyous, and content. And maybe you don't want to use the word content because that could also be deemed as a little negative depending on some things. So we could use actual meditative phrases. So when we first meditated, it was more of just kind of like we were thinking of our intentions only. That's all we thought of. Now, the next step would be to, okay, so if your intentions was to have, let's say, more money in the bank account, now we need to change our mind frame from I don't have, or, money doesn't come easily to money comes easily and often. And so what we're going to then meditate on is seeing, not just saying it, but seeing it and playing little games with how it's going to come about. Even if you like play games with just like tucking money away somewhere, um, to have it come back to you double, or you're going to maybe give to a charity, but not necessarily expecting to receive. So it's as though you're going to, that it's going to come back subconsciously as well as consciously. And so you don't think about it. So that phrase gets into your head, and eventually it's just going to be there, and you're going to replace the negative phrase from lack to abundance. And that's basically what we're doing. We're changing our mind from lack to abundance. We're changing our mind from negative to positive. So if you say, oh, I'm never going to meet the right person. And that was something that I used to always say, or I say, oh, I'm not cut out for marriage. I'm just not. I said that from like the time I was a teenager. And I thought it, not even from a teenager, but from when I was a kid. My mom, her whole goal for me was to just like find a nice man to marry. And she just wanted me to be a housewife. That was her goal. And I was kind of like, I kind of want to go to school and work a little. That wasn't, so my mind just was not there. So what happened? It didn't happen. And I always used to say, like, I just don't know if that's for me. And so I guess now the phrase, if that's something that I want, is going to be, oh, marriage is definitely for me. Or, like, so that is something that's going to be coming. And I'm not just going to say it, I'm going to think it, and then I'm going to see it. I'm going to go through wedding albums. And a lot of people think women who do this is funny. Like, why are you going out picking out your wedding dresses? But I bet you, if you speak to a woman who's married and you ask her, like, she had that. She probably carried that from apartment to apartment, house to house that she lived in. That photo album of what her dress was going to look like, what the cake was going to look like, the vows, and boom, I bet you those are the ones who are married. And it didn't start at an older age. It started at a very young, especially if you were serious about it and it was something that you just truly, truly believed in. It stayed with you, and it wasn't if, it was, oh, when. And that's one thing I've noticed whenever I spoke to, it was when I get married. And I was like, wow, you're so sure about that, but you're single. No, it's when I get married, it's going to be this, that, and the other. So it's when I don't know, hit the lottery, it's going to be this, that, and the other. So not only, so wait, we're on language now, right? See, we went from um how to manifest. We went from the meditation portion, and now on the language that we speak. So, how many negative words do you say every day? And I bet you say a lot. So, before we get on to the negative words, we're going to take a little break and we're going to be right back. Okay. And again, thank you for joining me, and thank you for watching Empowered TV. And we are doing manifestations, meditations, and relaxation with Crystal Rain. Okay, so we are back and we are on the language portion. So, what language can we say? So, one, the word can't. That's one of the words that isn't allowed, isn't allowed around me. Can't. Can't cannot be in the vocabulary. What else? Not or just like no. Oh, how often do you say no? Say yes more. I know it's not going to be a weird thing, but say yes more. And I know it's going to be tricky, but that was one of the things I became very conscious of how many times and how much I said no. Because every time I said no to something or to someone, um, I was saying no to also me. So the more you say yes, and that's one of the things that I decided to do was to say yes more. And I know that sounds a little weird, but it was just instead of, let's say you receive a compliment, there's a way to say no to a compliment, and you may not think so. So, most people, when you give them a compliment, they usually will say the word sorry. I used to do it. Or I would be like, oh no. Like they say, oh, your hair looks nice today. Oh, okay. Like, um, but now I'm just like, oh, yes, thank you. You know, there wasn't a lot of confidence behind that. Yes, it'll just be like, oh, it's all right, it's average, or usually people tend to try to diminish the compliment because it's like you're not supposed to. Remember, what we're taught is like vanity, like it's don't be vain. So you tend not to accept compliments, but if you notice that like a lot of people who are more fluent, they accept compliments very well. It's like you have, oh wow, look, your house is so nice, thank you. There's no apologizing for it. There's no there's nothing else that comes after the thank you, um, which is the thank you. Uh, when they're offered something, even though they know they can afford it and buy it themselves, yes, thank you. That's it. There's no excuse. Uh, Donating to something, yes, I can donate to something. There's nothing, there's no apology. Usually when you get a compliment, there's an apology behind that that comes from the other person. And usually people tend not to want to accept a compliment because then they don't know what to say to someone else. But sometimes you don't have to compliment back. I try to. I'll try to find something like if they like my locks, oh, I love your locks, thank you. And if they have locks, I'm like, I love your locks, I love the color of them. Or I saw this young man. I was picking up pizza. I know I'm not supposed to be eating pizza, but I picked up some pizza. Okay. And this young man, I'm sure he gets it all the time. And I don't know what his affiliation is. And I'm a woman. I'm not trying to talk to this little young man. But I just had to let him know he has such pretty eyes. I was like, oh my God, you have the prettiest eyes, young man. And then, that was it. It wasn't like, anything awkward. He was like, thank you. And I was like, I'm sure you hear this all the time, but your eyes are just so beautiful. I mean, he has those eyes that you look and you go like, oh, wow, they pop. And it's an eye color that you don't normally see, especially on an ethnic person. He looks like he's like either biracial or Spanish. And he has like this gray, white, just beautiful eye color and long lashes. That's not fair. You guys get, you know what? It's not fair because us girls have to work really hard to get some of these things. We're not always born that way, but the young men tend to be born this way. And I'm like, how come you guys get the pretty eyes and the pretty eyelashes? But yes, it's not fair, but we have to deal with it. So I had to compliment him on his eyes because I said, they were absolutely beautiful. I think I would have felt guilty if I didn't because I thought it. So if you think it, why not say it? Now, I know there's some things that you think that you probably shouldn't say, but why not? Sometimes when I look at, certain things and I know the rules for certain things, because, people don't want to get banned, but it's like, well, why can't I say, like, you're wearing a nice top? Because that was one of them. One lady said, don't comment on my clothes. I want people to tell me my clothes look nice. I say, oh, wow, thank you. I put some thought into it to, hopefully that someone's going to like what I'm wearing. I put thought into, the appearance. Like, how should I wear my hair? Because I want people to, like it. Today was just down. It was just that type of day. It was just a down day. But yes, so those are the different things that we can do. And then we're going to get into a little relaxation in a minute. So what other phrases? So one phrase again is I can look some up too, just some typical ones. But one is, again, money comes easily and often. Oh, I am more than enough. So this keeps coming up for me, and I don't know why. If there's a phrase that keeps coming up for you, whether it's positive or negative, there's a reason for it. So one of them is I am more than enough. I tend to be put in a situation to where it's like, okay, well maybe that just wasn't enough, or maybe I just wasn't enough. And then I have to guess like, okay, and then I just have to like let it all go and go like, okay, guess what? You are enough. So that's another thing is I am enough, which means I am enough of a good person. I am enough as far as, for my life, for my family. People tend to think that they are not enough, that they are lacking themselves, lacking in skills, lacking in just plain knowledge, lacking in confidence, lacking in beauty. My friend, since I've known her since junior high, it's not the friend you're thinking of, but since I've known this person since junior high, it's always, she always begins every post or sentence with, I know I'm not the best looking female. And I'm like, you have a man. I don't have a man. You have a man. So there's something you're doing right. There's something about you that's awesome because she started wearing her hair a different way. And one of the things is, I'm not. She always, when she posts the pictures, I know I'm not the best looking female, but this is my new hairstyle that I'm feeling. And I'm not sure if it's to get compliments. So we have to be careful of being needing to be fed. You know what I'm saying? We don't want to have to be fed everything. So that's one of the things we don't want. It's like, okay, are you fishing? Or that's what I mean, fishing. Um, because if we teach you to fish, you won't like have to fish for something. I think like how can I phrase that? Let me see here. Hmm. Oh, if we teach you to kind of like fish for yourself, maybe. Like, oh wow, look at this outfit. This is awesome. So that's me fishing for myself instead of me fishing to get something from you, which may go my way or may not go my way. But if I know if I do it, it's going to go my way. Hopefully that makes sense. So fishing for yourself versus going out to fish for something from somebody else. So we want to teach people to fish for themselves because if you fish for yourselves, you'll constantly be fed and you won't have to be so needy. I guess I'll say. And I'm not sure if we have any new people, but I do like to show off my little outfits here. So this right now, what I'm wearing is the one strap tank, and it's my Zaya activewear. And these leggings I love. I don't really wear them out, but these are the leopard scrunchies. And I don't know, like they're supposed to enhance, but like I say, on me, I'm not sure if that's like an actual thing. You know what I'm saying? I'm always careful. But I do like the way they look. And you know who to blame for this leopard print, right? Goddamn Carol Baskin. Okay, I kind of said it and I didn't say it. We don't want to say her name too much because we know they're probably working on something else, right? Yes, we know they're working on something else. But you know who to blame. Carol Baskin. Yes. Yes. So I don't know if they enhance because it's hard to tell on me. I'm like, it kind of always looks like that. So, but if you know some ladies who are looking to enhance, leopard scrunchies or our scrunchies by Zaya. Okay, so we went with manifesting. Okay, so what else? Okay, so we talked about language. We can change our language. And I think now we're into the meditation portion. I don't know if I want to meditate for like 15 minutes right now. I probably fall asleep on you guys. Um, ooh, but I've been seeing this, and I don't know how people feel about I thought it was interesting, but yet a little weird. I believe in like maybe throwing a pajama party type style thing, like where you do pajama party type things, like eat popcorn together, watch a movie. But I don't know if I want people watching me sleep. I have seen that where you watch someone sleep, and I guess that's relaxing, will help you fall asleep. I have to look more into it. I don't know the logistics behind it. So I said, but I saw it and was like, that's interesting. Maybe I'll think of something else. Maybe we'll do just like relaxation, self-care night. So that way I'm not, totally on somebody else's thing. But I thought that was interesting. If you've ever watched one of those where you're just watching someone sleep, I'm like, I'm scared I'm gonna snore. The sound must be off. Because if I like snore or snorted, I played that back, I don't know, I would delete it because it kind of ruins everything because they look like Sleeping Beauty and people say, well, like the person's faking it. And I was like, well, she looks very much like Sleeping Beauty. And it looks like very like pretty sleep. So maybe they are faking it, but they are so relaxed. I was like, I don't know if I could be relaxed knowing that there's a camera on me. And like, I know the type of tops and type of things I like to wear to sleep sometimes. And if I turn the wrong way, I'm off Twitch. My clothes are going to be like sideways. But usually I sleep pretty still. But that's what I keep picturing. What if my clothes end up sideways? But maybe we'll do a self care where we're all wearing pajamas and it's going to be a pajama party. I'm sorry. Because that's all I keep picturing is the fact that I'm going to turn and my butt's going to be like, it's going to be off. That's just it. So let's get into our relaxation portion. So we talked about how to manifest and what it actually is. Yes, there is the Webster definition: a person manifesting feelings, a person manifesting illness, a person, um, manifesting, uh, no thoughts, just their own thoughts. They're going to manifest or think about or bring about some thoughts. But the type of manifesting we're talking about is changing negative to positive. How can you do that? And what you can, bring about that you're looking for. Like if you're looking for a mate, if you're looking for a car, and these are things that I guess I can actually say that I've done. And maybe we'll have vision board night. I talked about vision boards and I forgot we didn't really complete the whole night because I didn't cut anything out and actually put it on the vision board. I just showed you guys the vision board. So we'll do a vision board night because that's an easy freebie that's already out there. But creating a vision board that works. I have a lot of steps in that. So that's fun. And I have actually manifested things on my vision board. A house, again, just from thinking about, hey, the perfect house is on this street. And it just got in my head. And then boom, hey, I'm selling my house. I want to give you first dibs. What? And it's on the street that I wanted it to be on. Could not believe that. Shocker. So I do have to be careful with things like watching Scream and constantly thinking about stuff like that. And I have to be careful about what feelings I bring about or feelings that I create because I could again create my own negative situation. So I have to then do what? What comes next? What really comes next? If you can guess, you can type it in the chat. And some people, they're like, oh, okay, enough of manifesting. You have to create ownership. Ownership. You got to own it. And I always say one of my favorite people, one of my absolute mentors, which is Oprah Winfrey. I love that for her company, Oprah Winfrey Network spells own. She has owned everything in her life, owned the type of childhood she's had, owned any career things, owned weight things. She just realized she had to all of a sudden own it. So I love that the acronym Oprah Winfrey Network, I was like, wow. When I saw that, even before she said own, I was like, wow, Oprah Winfrey Network is own. You can't get any better than that. You cannot have, I don't know what type of positive energy that is, that one creates to have around them to where all that works out. I'm not sure if I will ever be there. But when I look at what she has manifested and what she has created and where she has come from, it's like, how would a person from literally slave background from where she grew up um, in the South with what she went through from living, with mainly men as a young woman, how do they create the fact that they're going to go to the city and get on TV? And then to be told over and over that we don't put people on TV that look like you. And if you don't know what that means, is we don't put fat black people on TV. And then decades later to have a comedian be told the same thing, and she wasn't fat, but she was brown. Like, we don't put women like you that look on TV. You're Eastern Indian. We don't put them on TV. And of course, she fought through that. Same way Oprah fought through that. So I'm going, what type of mindset do you have to gain to where you just come through all of that trials, tribulations, the negative energy that's thrown at you, the negative thoughts, the negative words, and to conquer. Not just, win and conquer. Not just win, but to completely conquer. Because she was also told that you're leaving the show, going to start your own thing. That's not going to be helpful. And she had some hiccups, but she stayed with it. And guess what? We have Oprah Winfrey Network, just a magazine. And yeah, awesome, right? Yeah. So you have to own it. So once you realize once you realize what you can do, you then take it all in and absolutely own it. And with that being said, we're going to get into our little meditation portion. So we're going to get into it. I love this, probably because I have like a whole bunch of it. I don't think we're going to pop. Hopefully you guys can hear this. I'll turn the mic up. We're not going to pop them tonight. We're just going to hear the paper. And I know it would be better if I had color on my nails. See, there I go. Look, we're relaxing. And my immediate thought is, how can I improve on this moment instead of just letting the moment be? That's another thing that we do. Sometimes you just got to let moments be. You never know what someone's paying attention to. You never know what is going on in someone's head. You just have to let it be. So we don't want to always look at how we can improve a moment, but simply sit back and watch the moment. That is what's amazing. Hi, how are you? We just finished. We're coming to our relaxation portion. We talked about manifesting, how we can change our language to bring things about, and then how to just let moments be, to just live in the moment, be present, and not having to always improve upon everything. Peace, love, many blessings. Namaste. Thank you for joining me, Crystal Rain and Power TV. Meditations, manifestations, and relaxation Monday. Namaste.